Hey everyone, how are you? Let me know if you're on live, jump on and say hi. I just wanted to pop on. I just finished with a client and I wanted to get on. I keep getting this nudge from soul and to share this with you because I know it will be helpful for so many of you. And a lot of you are going through this where you're feeling this energy of needing to shift or up level or expand in some way. You can feel the good stuff coming in, you know, it's like you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can touch it, but it just doesn't feel like it's right there. It almost feels like you're being tethered to the past in some way or held back in some way. And we know that's not true because we know we're creating our lives, right? But it's a feeling or a sensation of this restriction or tethering in some way. And so as you might have seen in the name of this live, it was all around identity and is it holding you back? And this is a really big one that I'm seeing for so many of you. It is not releasing the old identity of self that is actually the reason for holding you back, or the sensation of that you're being held back in some way, or that you're not creating in the way you want. It's due to that feeling of I'm not letting go of the identity, my identity. You know, your identity, we have to think of it as just like putting on a new set of clothes, right? Hey, beautiful, hello, good to have you here. Yeah, so it's like putting on a new set of clothes. Our identity, right? We have our personality, we have our self. We're not trying to change that inherent part of ourself that is perfect and whole and, you know, beautiful. We're not changing that, but we need to let go of the old identities. Our identity is what we look to in our past, how we've been in relationships, how we do money, how we create, how we manifest, how we show up. And then not only do we have our self-identity, but we also have a group identity. So it's how other people perceive us and our identity, how other people tell us we should behave or react or respond to life, how we've always been. You know, you may have heard that in families or friendships, but we've always done this, or it's always been like this. And so there's this energy around not wanting you to shift or change. So we can see it in the group as a whole, and we also see it in ourselves. There's this feeling or fear around letting go of, you know, who we were, maybe how we used to be, or how, you know, with health, with money, with everything. Right? We've done things a certain way as this identity that has served us, that it's absolutely served us up until now. And so this is what I'm seeing as a really big issue for people, is they're feeling that push to, you know, branch out or to up level in some way or expand in some way or to have more or to reach their desires or manifest what they want in their life. But that tether, there's like this tether to that old identity of I can't do that. Who am I to do that? Or who am I to have more or whatever? And yes, it's, you know, a lot of it is belief system and the shadow side of things. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But it also is just like putting on a new set of clothing, right? It's a choice to make, to go, I am changing. I do believe different things. I don't believe the same things. I have different opinions. I have different wants and needs and desires. I'm a different person. I'm still me, right? I'm still myself and I'm still my personality, but my identity, all the things in my life that has told me I am this way, that has changed. And yet I'm still trying to create or manifest from that old identity with its old set of beliefs and way of doing things or way of being in the world. And so I'm really asking you to try and step up, really push yourself to step up into this new identity. And when I say step up, it's not a literal thing, obviously. I'm meaning shedding those old identities. Right? Being brave to say, well, this is actually who I am now. I have this new set of beliefs or ideals, a new set of operating, you know, even operational rules, my own operational rules for how I operate in the world. and what I'm doing, and that's changed. And if I continue to try and create from this old identity, I'm going to be really miserable, because what I'm seeing is, this is really a big thing, is a fracturing of self. And what I mean by that is it's literally like a falling apart into anxiety or depression, or just this feeling of overwhelm and frustration, because there's this, you know, push by the higher self to go, come on, be the new you, the new identity. You've got a whole new set of rules and an operational manual that you can go by now. You know, you can choose this new way of being for yourself, and yet you're holding yourself back, and you're still believing that, well, how can I do that? Or who am I to that? Or I've never had that. My family's never had that. There comes the group identity, right? Or what would people think of me? Group identity. Again, you know, what would they think of me if I did this or I chose this? And so there's this fracturing within you where you've got these almost like two opposing forces, the force of the past and that old identity of how you've always done things, and then this new identity that's wanting to come in and start embodying itself and enmeshing itself in this new world, because that's the part of you that's going to create the next level. That's the part of you that's creating the big vision. It's a part of you that's creating the deep desires that you have, is this new identity. Okay, it's not the old identity. And, you know, we can go deeper with this too, because the identities go into our other lifetimes as well. So, you know, it's who we were in these other lifetimes. Who were we? Were we bad? Were we good? You know, are we putting ourselves into all these different containers? Were we rich? Were we poor? You know, were we successful, or were we on the street? Who were we? All of these identities come with us, right? And if you realize that you can sort of sift through them and choose, you can choose. Because let me tell you, we've all been everything, right? We've been good, bad, indifferent. We've been evil. We've been, you know, we've been everything in all different lifetimes. And yet we only identify though with now, right? We're identifying with, this is me. This is my identity. This is who I am. And that's why we have such a hard time of letting go of that. Because when we hear the word change, we think we've got to change the actual essence of ourself. And that's not true at all. We're just changing, as I said, like putting on some new clothing and creating a new identity of what you identify with. What do you now identify as or with? You know, what is that? And you can tap into this too. You can call forward the other lifetimes where you had the wealth, you know, you had the luxury, or you had the confidence, or you had the success, because you've got lifetimes there, even if you don't know them, that you have lived as, you know, in that identity. And you can call that forward. You can ask to merge with that identity and bring it into your life now to help you remember, to awaken to that identity, to try it on, to start feeling like, yeah, this feels comfortable, right? It'll start fitting better and better and better. And so that's what I'm really inviting you to do, is to step into, which means remove the old layers of the old identity, really start looking at who you are now and start creating from that version. Don't hold yourself back. If it means you have to literally detonate everything and burn everything to the ground, symbolically, right, to start afresh as this new part of you, this new identity, then that's what you have to do. And that's where the fear comes in, because we do secretly want that. We're happy to make the changes for most of us, but when it comes to letting go of the identity and letting go of who we were, and you know what's bundled up with that? All our excuses, all our stories. If we have to close the door on that and we can't pull it out every time, oh, see, that's why I can't do that. Remember that's when I, you know, was sick, or remember that's when, you know, I lost all my money, or remember then when I did that bad venture and it all went sideways, you know. And so we pull these parts of ourselves out to parade around, to tell ourselves why we can't have, or we can't be, or we can't do the things that we want to do. And then to close the door on that fully and really shut it and not bring those things out anymore, that is the part that terrifies us. It's not really the idea of change. That can be exciting, right? The transformation and the change. We can think, yeah, that sounds exciting. That sounds fun. But it's the thought of then, oh, but then I have to leave that part of me behind. I can't keep carrying it around, you know, tethered to me, which is what's happening. Because then I'm going to get this fracturing of self, which really makes me wobble and feel unsure. And then I feed my doubts and my fears, right? And I feel disconnected when I do that because I don't know who I am. I'm literally feeling like I'm two people fighting for the same body. Okay, and so we really need to be able to close the door on that. And that means letting go of the trauma and the terror and the pain and the abuse and the fear and the doubt and all the stories and the narrative and the excuses and all the things from childhood and all whatever created this identity. It's the letting go of that. It made you who you are, and we're so thankful for that, but you can't keep carrying it around in a suitcase with you. Okay, eventually you have to let it go and create this new identity. Create a new narrative and a new story for yourself. Okay, that's where, so if that's what's happening for you, where you feel like you're so close to creating what you really want to create, then you know you might want to look at what are you identifying with? What is the identity that's wanting to be birthed out of you right now? What is it saying to you? Who is it wanting to be? And allow it to come through. Allow it to come through. Feed that part of yourself. Try not to bring up those old narratives. Create new ones. Okay, and that's going to lead you to reaching that big vision and creating your deepest desires. All right, if you have any questions that you want to share with me, if this resonates or triggers you in any way, please let me know. Write it in the comments and I will come in later and answer anything that's in there. And I know this will have helped open your eyes a little bit to what's going on. You are so welcome, Amanda. Yay, you're always in the right place at the right time, aren't you? You're always here. You're here for the message when you need to hear it, which is perfect. Hey, what a creator you are. All right, lovely. Thank you for joining me live, and anyone else who's live that I can't see. And also, as I said, leave me a comment if you're watching the replay, and I'm happy to answer anything for you. Awesome. Thanks, lovely. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everyone, and I'll talk again soon. Bye.